We turn now to a story that's getting a lot of people talking and also set to make history. Take a look at this. This is a social media post by Reuters. Australia is set to become the first country to implement a minimum age for social media use, with platforms like Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube forced to block more than 1 million accounts, marking the beginning of an expected global wave of regulation. So this is a live look right here of the Sydney Harbor as this ban is set to take effect later on today. A little bit more information. Australia's world first social media ban for under 16-year-olds will take effect at midnight today local time, forcing major platforms to block users or face heavy fines. All of this aimed to protecting children from harmful content and mental health risks.
Looks like Australia is setting the example for the world, and the United States of America needs to be the next country, in my opinion. And honestly, I actually think they should even go further than that. I think they should wait until they graduate high school. Get their education on, get social media away from them, have them absorb all the knowledge they can in school. That way they're not complete dummies by the time they get out and they're over here doing these crazy ass things on TikTok and really causing, the mental health aspect is the most important thing. But let me know what you guys think about this. Is this something that they should bring to America, whether 16-year-old, 18-year-old? What do you guys think about that?
Been getting a lot of folks talking right here as social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Kick, Reddit, Snapchat, Threads, TikTok, X, YouTube, and Twitch will start facing fines after this ban is implemented at midnight if they fail to take reasonable steps to remove those accounts. Meta, which owns Facebook, Instagram, and Threads, was the first tech giant to react, beginning to exclude suspected young children last week. While the law allows parents no discretion to allow their children to hold social media accounts, there is a role for parents in regulating their social media use. So we want to bring you into the conversation because no doubt a lot of folks have an opinion. And we want to ask you if you agree with Australia's ban on social media for children under the age of 16. This is a live vote right here. 3 answers for you: yes, no, or it should be up to the parents. All you have to do is scan the QR code on the upper right-hand side of your screen and share with us your thoughts. A lot of parents have very strong feelings about whether their children should be allowed on social media, and the age, of course, is also a big part of this discussion. So this is a live poll right here. I know a lot of folks are getting ready for the day, probably taking your kids to school or getting ready for work yourself. But we did want to ask you, whether you have kids or not, do you think that Australia's ban on social media for children under the age of 16 is something that you agree with?
They're
or
coming in.
not, or should it be up to the parents? So we do see some live interaction already. Right now it's split 50-50 between yes, you do agree with the ban, and you also, 50% of you say it should be up to the parents. So this is going to be the very first country, Australia, to implement this social media ban. This is set to take place at midnight tonight, and Australia would become the very first country to enact a ban of social media platforms for children under the age of 16. So all of these platforms will have to then block anyone under the age of 16 or face heavy fines. So Instagram, if you're 16 and under in Australia, you can't be on it. Same with TikTok and YouTube, and a lot of these social media platforms are geared towards the younger generation. This is how a lot of younger people speak to their peers and their friends. They go on TikTok, they go on Instagram. That's how they keep in touch. That's how they stay connected. So
And listen, I would say I'm kind of 50-50 on this. I think it really depends on, I would say yes for, 16. But I believe at 16, I think it should go up to, should be up to the parents. As long as their children are doing good in school, they're not getting in trouble, getting suspended or expelled, or doing, cutting class, cutting school, doing drugs, doing anything illegal. You want to give kids the incentive too when they're actually being good kids, being good, raised with good morals, good values, and keeping at their studies, and being responsible even at home. Cleaning up, after themselves, being part of the family activities, and cleaning their rooms. I mean, just basic things of, you should be teaching your kids to make sure when they become adults that they're able to sustain their own lives by taking care of themselves. I think I was 16 when I had my first phone, but I mean, back in the day, this was before iPhones came out. I had a flip phone, the Razor. If anybody out there had the Razor, and the first Droid, the slide Droid with the huge keyboard that almost looked like the BlackBerry. They were trying to, I think, imitate them. And that was another phone that was out there, the BlackBerry. And then people were having the Nokias. But in my personal opinion, in regards to this vote, I could see everybody saying yes or should be up to the parents. And that's kind of where it should be. If anybody is putting no, I want to hear it in the comments below. Why you would put no. I really want to know, because in my personal opinion, I don't want people to get offended out there, because I haven't thought of any other reason to say no. But you're either putting no if you're somebody that's under 16 and voting on this, putting no, or you're a pedophile. That's my personal opinion. Why would you want children on social media, to not ban it? Why? What's the explanation? I would love to hear it in the comments below. And if I don't hear nothing, then I'm right.
This would impact millions of people, and Australia is the first, but it may not be the last, of course, depending on how all of this plays out. Right now, we do see that 83% of you or so agree with Australia's ban on social media for children under the age of 16. Just about 2% of you say no, you do not agree, and about 18% of you say it should be up to the parents. So this is a very new debate in terms of countries implementing a countrywide ban. But of course, a lot of lawmakers here in the United States have also been speaking on Capitol Hill about the dangers of social media, about the predators that could be on there, about the misinformation, about the social media pressures. So it is an interesting conversation. We, of course, always love to bring that conversation to you, the viewer, so you can share your perspective on this. So we are going to close out this poll in just a minute. We're going to keep it up for a little bit longer in case you didn't have your phone handy and you wanted to scan that QR code. But right now, it seems like an overwhelming amount of you who have participated in this poll agree with Australia's ban on social media for children under the age of 16. If you're just joining us at this hour here on Live Now from Fox, we did want to share with you a story that's making headlines. Australia is set to become the world's first country to implement a social media ban for children under the age of 16. That will take place at midnight tonight, and that is facing major platforms like YouTube and Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok to either block users or face heavy fines. Now, lawmakers who supported this say that this is meant to protect children from harmful content or mental health risks. And this is being very closely followed by countries around the world who are also considering similar legislation. So we're going to close that poll out for you right now, but 80% of you so far say that you do support Australia's ban on social media for children under the age of 16. Just 2 say no percent, and 17% say it should be up to the parents.
Yeah, that 2% is nasty to see. I need to hear it in the comments below why any adult believes that it's not a good idea having Australia do the ban. Now this, maybe it could be fear because it would pass on to, I don't know. I want to hear it. I don't know. like I said, it's either somebody under 16 or you're a pedophile. That's the only thing I can think of on why you would say no to this. And I really hope this sets the tone and they start doing studies of this from this moment on, and seeing these kids getting, a better education, and they're actually passing grades or getting higher grades. We definitely need to do a study on this to see if this will be something we can do here in America, because I feel like every time I go on YouTube and I see some clips on TikTok, even people that have TikTok and they save clips on YouTube, I still see stuff that's happening on TikTok. I mean, it happens everywhere, even on Instagram. And I'm not even talking about Snapchat and all these other apps that are out there that I don't even know what they're even about. But I think this would be very beneficial, and as somebody that really wants to have children in this country, I really want to make sure that they're not going to be abused by social media, because it's already hard as kids to try to fit in when you start school, start your education life in America. You want to make sure you're with the cool kids, or you don't want to be left out when other people are doing certain things. You want to be included. And social media really lets people know, hey, which side are you on? It's such a disease, in my opinion, for children and even for some adults, but that's just another story. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. Like and subscribe, I'd appreciate it. Till next time, peace out, everybody. This one's for Charlie.